Hello everybody, my name is Sophia Porter, and this is You Got Sophia's Game of Thrones podcast. My sincerest apologies about not having an episode dedicated to last week's Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken, but this kid got yet another job. So, what with the training and the live podcast, I had to take a brief hiatus. However, I am back and better than ever. Granted, that's always up for debate, but I'm rambling. Today I'm here to talk about Season 5, Episode 7, The Gift. And as always, I have a beautiful, wonderful, lovely, wise, incredible guest. Did I mention she's wonderful? You may have heard her on the live podcast last week, but just in case you didn't, it's my pleasure to introduce Carly Hill. Hi, Carly, and welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Sophia. What's up?
Nothing. I'm just so glad you're here.
I'm so happy. I'm always happy.
It's like long awaited.
It kind of is.
Like you and me talking about Game of Thrones.
I know. This is the thing of like a myth. Like
this is what legends are born from.
This is a legend itself.
I'm so excited.
Oh my god. This is like seeing a centaur.
Like a basilisk.
Even better.
Magic. Oh, okay, we're getting on talking about it already. Okay. Magic of friendship. So I know you were on last week, but because we're getting back to a more normal routine, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Awesome.
Fear not, there will not be any Davos trivia because we all know how that went.
Well, now I know all the answers, though.
But so I would come up with new ones.
You would always come up with new ones.
Always.
You had to make them up from the fan fictions that, let's be real, do they exist?
I don't know what you're talking about. This is just so we can have a little bit of fun before we get into the nitty-gritty of The Gift. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. First off, who is your all-time favorite character in Game of Thrones?
Oh my god. It's such a big question.
I know.
All-time favorite character.
I didn't even warn you either.
You didn't.
I'm dumping you on
this. This is out of the blue. This is like totally like on your toes. Oh, this is like harder than real life. Like real life questions. Like, what are your goals in life?
How old are you? I don't know.
Oh, that I'll never know.
That I'll never know.
Mentally or like, because I
mentally, obviously.
That's
you and I are both like 16.
If that.
16-year-old boys.
Yeah,
I feel like that's who we are mentally.
That is pretty much dead on.
Nailed it. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
But Game of Thrones, and you can like, I mean, it could be like your most, like the most lasting impression someone has left on you. Like for me, obviously, it's Davos. Like there's no question. But Catelyn Stark was also like my favorite character.
She's like your spirit animal, kind of, because like
my spirit guide. My spirit guide.
Oh my god,
I get really emotional when we talk about Catelyn Stark.
So understandable.
I know you said you wanted to name your direwolf Ned.
I did. He's not my favorite character though. He's like, oh my gosh. He just holds a special place in my heart. Like, I will always... Ned was my first, in the sense that... it got weird.
Ned was my first.
Ned was my first. Just in the sense that it was like, that first character that you get attached to, because the season was like, first season was like, oh, love this character. Just kidding. We're going to break your heart.
We're going to chop his head off.
We're going to chop his head off. And it just makes you a stronger person from then on out. My favorite character, and like, I always try to go with like, a more obscure one, but I won't even try this time. Tyrion, all-time favorite character. I have my reasons.
Girl, I'm sure you have your reasons. I have my reasons too that I love him. So I'm sure you got yours.
I know we have the same reason.
We certainly do.
As of late.
Yeah, we do.
It's an interesting topic. But I love him because I've always been very intrigued by his character, just in the sense that I like that he has so much of what it takes to be a great leader, and he has always struggled, like, because for obvious reasons, unfortunately, but
because his dad's a dick.
Because his dad is a dick. Oh my god, he's the worst.
love Tywin. He's my second favorite character in Game of Thrones. Like, actually, because of all the hurt that he has caused me, I feel like that kind of character sort of deserves to be in your top 3.
Totally.
Like, so he usurped Catelyn. Like, it was Davos, Catelyn, and then I don't know, but now it's like Davos, Tywin.
Oh. Davos Tywin.
Tywin.
What about Stannis?
He has a different place.
Oh, I see. This is not... We're talking about... I understand.
You know what I mean.
I got you. Yeah. I got you, girl.
You listeners, I'm sure, are like, who is this girl? Why are we listening to her and her weird obsession with Stannis Baratheon?
This should be called the Stannis Files.
I actually wanted to name this something about Davos. I wanted to have Davos in the title, and then someone was like, no, you're a girl, you should have your name in the title, because, there aren't many female, like, Game of Thrones podcast hosts, and I was like, you're right, so it couldn't be, like, Sophia and Davos forever, like, it had to be something legitimate.
You still have, like, I'm sure an open screen name. If people don't have screen names anymore.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do. I think that's like 90. Oh,
weird.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Someone's
Anyway.
turning 24 next week.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. I have to get you a present. Okay.
Oh
anyway,
my God.
filed
Oh my God, I
under.
love it.
Filed under.
Right.
All
I'm sorry. Tyrion.
Tyrion.
So Tyrion. No, I can kind of relate to the struggle he goes through as far as acceptance and getting people to kind of listen to his cause. And I think he's a more interesting character for it. I really like that he makes up for what he lacks in kind of acceptance in wit and in personality. And I mean, he's such a smart and just intelligent character. He's always interesting to listen to. He really loves dragons. And I found that out more from the first book because I was reading. You understand.
I do. You and dragons is like,
it's
amazing. It's amazing.
It's a love thing. It's like
it's like me and Stannis. I get it.
It's exactly like that. How did you? Oh my gosh! Just thinking about.
I know
them scales though.
The fire.
The fire in the heart.
Okay.
All right.
So Tyrion's your favorite character.
He is.
Great.
I think that's where we should cut that.
I was going to cut out the second question, but I don't want to. This is just going to be a longer podcast. I don't care.
I'm so sorry.
No, God, no, never.
It's the wine.
It's the wine. Yeah, we are drinking wine.
But wine is occurring.
Because why not? We're talking about Game of Thrones.
Why not?
Why not? We're channeling our inner Cersei.
Oh
my God,
drinking
a ton of wine. And Tyrion.
And,
God of tits and wine. Like, that's us.
We are the goddesses of tits and wine.
Damn straight we are. Okay, so secondly, which religion do you find to be the most fascinating?
Oh.
I know. I'm amazing at coming up with these questions.
It's the humbleness that gets me. It's really...
It's why we're so close.
It's why we're so close.
For me, it's the many-faced God.
I think I have to go with the same... This is going to sound really bad. It's going to sound really bad.
Nothing you can ever say will.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Hinder my love for you.
Here, make a heart with me.
Gladly.
Nobody can see this, but we're making
We just made a heart. It was beautiful.
It was a moment, I think.
I think so too. I
know it.
It was like a touchstone in our friendship.
It was.
Yeah. It was really nice.
Blair's going to listen and be like, what have I done?
I know. Blame Blair. Blame Blair. Okay, so.
All right.
You were going to say.
Yeah, the religions in the show are not something I've thought about a lot, and now you're going to make me look out for it more because no, you totally are because I think it's the many-faced
God.
Yeah, I think
the faceless men.
Faceless men. Okay, I mean I think I got to go with that just because
it's so cool.
It's so freaking cool, and like this is again kind of going to sound bad, but like when the one kind of creepy old guy whose name I don't know, he was in, you'll understand, he was in Littlefinger's, like, former, like, whorehouse or whatever, and they're like, choose one of the 7.
Oh, yeah, the High Septon.
Yes, the High Septon, yeah. And I
the stranger with the
stranger was so cool.
No, you and I texted about that. We were like, oh my God, the stranger. Yeah.
She was so cool because I was like, all right, it's bad that they're like, using
sexualizing deities.
Yeah, like so bad. But oh my God, how awesome was that?
It was so good.
So cool.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we're on the same page.
So much.
And boom, now the audience knows you better. I just really wanted to say boom, really.
Boom.
Boom. All right, cool. Amazing job. You answered them.
Thank you.
So beautifully. Like, I'm in awe.
Thank
Okay,
you so much.
And now it's time to dig in.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. On Sunday night, we all sat down and watched a very packed episode of The Gift. And after last week's episode, I think we need sort of a strong one to pull us back in.
Yeah.
Luckily, at least in my opinion, The Gift did this. Because I didn't do an episode last week, I'll try and pepper in my thoughts about Unbound, Unbent, Unbroken. Gee, why would they ever title an episode
It's like red leather, yellow leather.
It is like red leather, yellow leather. I mean, I know it's like the motto of House Martell, but it's still like Unbound, Unbent, Unbroken. Unbound, Unbent, Unbroken. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But overall, as you can tell, I was not really the happiest camper after that episode, and I'd much rather focus on the positives.
Woo!
Yeah. So yes, I really enjoyed The Gift, and that's not only because Stannis is now growing a wartime beard, although that helped quite a lot.
Oh, you have a new ranking system then.
I don't even know. I think that's like an 11. Oh. Like, his beard is like that new beard. I'm going to get into it later, I promise.
It's like a Hawks playoff season.
Oh my God. So, Carly, what were your overall thoughts for The Gift?
The Gift.
The Gift.
The Gift. The Gift, though. I thought it was the episode that had some of the strongest and some of the weakest moments of the season, because I walked away from that episode and I was like, I wasn't really sure what to think about it, and I remember I was talking to my friend, and I was like, he was like, what do you think about it? And I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this one. I thought it was a slower one for me, but looking back on it, I do think it was just because there was so much. There was so much, but there were so many really, really strong things mixed with so many really, really weak things. And I was like, it was just kind of a crazy episode. So, I liked it, though. I mean, the more I think about it and kind of dig into it mentally, the more I really enjoy it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was better than last week's episode.
I think anything could be, just because,
Yeah. Let's get into specifics. Not of I'm bad, I'm bent, I'm broken. We'll do that later. But of the gift.
The gift.
The gift.
The gift. That keeps on giving.
Game of Thrones.
Dun, dun, dun,
Stannis' beard.
Stannis, the gift that keeps on growing.
Thank you.
The love that keeps on
Thank
growing.
you, Lord of Light. Thank you. So we kicked off at the wall where Jon and Tormund to Giantsbane, a.k.a. the best damn beard in Westeros, although I'm not sure anymore. Stannis, man. They're preparing to ride off into the night together. No, they're going to Hardhome. I gotta get my mind out of the fan fiction gutter, because you put that in my head now, like in fan fiction. Like, honestly, is Jon Tormund like a thing? Maybe it's Jormund or Torjon.
Oh, I kind of like. What was the first one?
Jormund.
Jormund sounds like an old English name of a man with mutton chops.
I like it. Jormund. So Jormund takes their leave of Castle Black, and with obviously Jon is there because he's the jaw of Ormond. Jaw of Jormund.
The jaw part.
Which is like not a good thing, especially because Alistair Thorne is left in charge, and he'll turn on you quick as a backstabber does.
Yeah.
Like he turned on Janos Slynt. Bam, bam. Beheaded. So with Jormund gone, who are we left to follow at Castle Black but Sam the Slayer, of course. Sam and Gilly and the not long for this world Master Aemon, who has waited until Sam literally has no allies left to die. And he does so quickly. And I'd almost guess painlessly, which is what we wanted for him. Like, he, of all people, deserves like a really painless death.
Yeah.
And it was truly saddening to watch one of the last Targaryens pass on, but I, being a book reader... knew his death was imminent. Carly, I know you're in the middle of the first book.
Yeah, and just by the way, his death, totally out of the blue for me. Like, I was like, he was doing fine. He was alright, and now he's dying. And
I was about to ask you if you thought his end was nigh, but no, you didn't.
I did not. I was like, he's sprightly for his age. He could go sledding.
Like when he votes for Jon, he's like, boom, nailed it.
He knows
10
what
out
he's
of 10.
doing. 10 out of 10, he's like, I got this. I'm going to change basically the fate of like Castle Black right now and put it in the right hands. And then he dies.
Yeah, literally dies.
He just died.
And
like
he's
it was
burned
like
alive. Like he's burned. He's not burned alive. He's burned.
Oh my god! I was like, I watched that very differently. I interpreted that very wrong.
Oh dear God! Oh. I think like the hardest part for me is knowing that he's never going to see another Targaryen again.
Yeah,
like he died saying his brother's name, and I think that the desire to be with family was sort of palpable. Like he so badly wanted to be. Like he said, egg. Like that was his brother's. That was his brother.
Oh no! Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I was so. This is horrible. Oh
yeah.
That makes it so much worse.
I don't know. I'm going to pour you more wine because I think that we should pour one out for Aemon Targaryen.
And cheers to it audibly.
And now his watch has ended.
And now his watch has ended.
Cheers. Clink. Uh-huh.
It's not so much drinking in his honor as it is drinking our sorrow.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm going to start drinking out of the bottle. No, I'm kidding.
Singing like Someone Like You by Adele.
Okay, no, we're not going to go in there. Okay, moving on to, well, not happier things because we're still at the wall.
And it's still Game of Thrones.
And it's Game of Thrones. There's literally no happiness.
No.
Gilly somehow finds herself alone and, well, what do you know? She gets attacked by some brothers. And oh man, I just gotta say, with no sarcasm or anything, how much I love all of the assaulting of women happening on this season. Wow, yes. So great.
We need more.
Yeah, always.
It's horrible.
It's literally.
I can't even continue the sarcasm.
I know, I can't even do it. Like, stop!
Well, it was like this. All right, this is a bad thing to argue about it because none of it's okay, but the fact that it was like you end one episode with it and the next episode you're like, literally, you know what we need more of? Assault. Great.
Obviously, just pepper in the assault there. Just like, who hasn't been assaulted in a while? Because, like, I'm gonna get into Gilly in a minute, but like, because I like to, you know, piece characters apart, but totally. Like, we had one of the most brutal rape scenes in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Literally ended the last episode.
Yeah.
And within, like, the first 15 minutes or so, we get another assault. And I was just like, or a possible assault. And I was just like, hey, guys, you're men. Obviously, the men are running this show, and they need a woman in there. That's what I think. So Gilly does fight back, though, but it's Sam that ends up taking the most beating. Honestly, it was so rough to see him get railed on. Like, I closed my eyes for a part of it, because, like, he just kept getting, like, they didn't stop. They didn't stop until they were like, oh, he's down for the count, and then he gets up again. And I was like, Sam, I burped in the middle of that.
I wouldn't have known unless you said anything, so now you've added another level to it.
You're so welcome. But Sam, and I wrote this quote, I wrote this in, I have to say it. But Sam gets knocked down, but he gets up again, because they're never going to keep him down. Do you see what I did there?
I saw
you see what I did there?
And
I'm sure I'm not the only person to make that joke, but Chumbawamba really did make a hit, and I want to honor it.
Absolutely. You have to bring it back.
You gotta bring it back.
You gotta bring it back. Because that song gets knocked down. But it always gets up again.
So Sam sort of, like, pulls himself up and is, like not okay, and is ready to keep fighting, which is the most surprising part. And I'm like, Sam, sweetheart, you are so kind and lovely. You killed a White Walker. It was pure luck that you did that.
100%.
But, like, still, I support you. But, boom! Ghost enters. And I literally said 5 seconds before, I was like, Ghost needs to show up. And then he was standing, and Ghost, I was like, thank you, Lord. Because Sam would have been killed. And, like, just question, where was Ghost? Where has Ghost been? Literally, where has Ghost been? Like, I for sure thought he was going to go with John. But at least Sam has ananother ally, right? Sam has Ghost. And
Sam needs Ghost.
I'm just worried that Ghost is going to get killed. Like, that's my fear now. Like, he's a direwolf, and direwolves are, like, terrifying, and John was his person, but now John is gone.
Yeah.
And if there is a coup, then Ghost will be killed, and when John gets back,
the direwolves have not had good luck.
They really haven't.
In the show, it's really sad. How many are left? It's Ghost?
3.
Four.
There's four left. Yeah.
I guess
Ghost,
so, yes.
Summer, Shaggy Dog, and Nymeria.
Oh, Nymeria. Oh, Nymeria needs to come back. I'm sorry, but we're talking about Ghost. All right, so Sam.
Nymeria does need to come back, I agree.
Yes, but, like, I thought that scene was very telling about Sam, just because we know that at heart, he's a fighter in his own way, and this visualized it. It was like, all right, like, you're not gonna win,
but he doesn't know this. He's not a seasoned fighter.
He's not a
seasoned fighter. He doesn't know when to give up.
Well, that's true. But, I mean, he at least has that spirit, and, like, which is, it's such a, like, everybody gets a ribbon kind of thing, but...
It is. I can just say that I was never so relieved to see a direwolf in my entire life than that moment when Ghost showed up. Oh, and Sam and Ghost definitely have a bond. You know, in the Watchers on the Wall, when John goes, you know what we need to Sam, and Sam goes, we need you, boy. I was like, yeah, Sam and Ghost. Like, it's a team. I'm so excited. And I loved that. But yeah, so I'm really glad we got to see Ghost again.
Totally.
That was nice. Just like in Pepper. I'm going to use that. Peppering in.
I like that.
In these little, and I'm making the...
She's making the little pepper.
Mace.
That's mace. I was like, pepper.
No, I'm literally, like, spraying mace. Anyway.
Sophia's idea of pepper is just straight mace.
Pepper spray.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, you think pepper, and I'm like, what you put on eggs?
Mm-mm.
You're just like, no, mace.
Pepper spray.
I like it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, Ghost is the real hero, and Sam retires to his bed to get an interestingly timed reward of, how do I put this delicately? Deflowering.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
He gets deflowered, which... I saw people get up in arms about the scene, given the fact that just before it, Gilly was assaulted. Like, almost assaulted. Like, they attacked her. She was not sexually assaulted, but they were going to.
Yeah.
But I sort of see it as her knowing her sexuality and knowing her limits. Game of Thrones is about power, and Gilly was able to establish hers, finally, in this episode. Lest we forget where we came across her in the first place. She was at Craster's Keep.
Right.
She is the daughter and the mother of his children. Mm-hmm. Right? She is literally a product of her environment. And other than Sam, she sees men as aggressive creatures, unless they prove themselves otherwise. So for me, while the bumpiness between the scenes could have been better managed, overall, I didn't see it as problematic that she chose this moment in time to do this.
I completely agree. Yeah, and that's exactly how I saw it too, because I didn't even realize people would have had a problem with it. And I can see kind of where they're coming from, but it's kind of like, I mean, I think it's her taking control of herself and her independence and her ability to be like, you know, I don't know, I can do what I want, and I'm stronger
I'm in charge
than
of myself.
She's in charge, exactly. She's in charge of herself, and
she wears the pants.
She wears the pants, exactly. And she does she literally?
I don't know. I don't know if she wears pants. I think she wears no, I don't think she actually wears pants. That's what I'm trying to say.
She wears the figurative pants.
She does.
Totally. But no, I think that if they hadn't have had that, and I mean, it wasn't necessary, but I think that's why it was cool. It's like, it was a choice she made, and it was one of those things where, like, I mean, you could have a female character who just curls up into a ball and is like, no, like, this just almost happened. And it's like, no, she could have done that because that, you know,
that was expected.
It was expected, and she was like, I'm going to do exactly what I want and what I feel right now.
Honestly, more power to her. It was awkward in the way that, you know, watching a virgin who has just been beaten up losing their virginity is. But, like, I thought it was well timed.
Agreed.
I think that it's good to see Sam sort of become another character. Like, he's always asked John. He's like, you know, what was it like to be with a woman? And he's always been questioning, and now he knows.
Can we talk about, too, that, like, I, at this point, don't think any of the men of the Night's Watch have kept that part of the oath.
God, no.
No. Like, let's be real.
I mean, the only thing they say is, I shall take no wife. It doesn't technically say, I won't sleep with ladies.
Oh, a bunch of millennials our age are like, I'll never have a wife, and I'm like, you should join the Night's Watch.
Yeah, go join up with the rapers. That's what they call them.
Oh,
you notice
really?
that in Game of Thrones they don't call them rapists? No, in the books.
In the books,
in the show they say rapists, but in the books they're rapers, and I think that's way more terrifying.
I think that's way more terrifying. That makes it sound like it's a word on par with like barbarian.
Yeah.
Like raper. Barbarian. Raper.
Yeah, that was always terrifying. And you know, Night's Watch is chock full of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I forget about that too, because like when I read when I read the first half of the first book that I'm still on, it's slow going. But
You'll get there.
Totally. But I was reading it, and you know, it was talking about all the rapers who were there. And I kind of forgot about that from the first season of Game of Thrones.
They're not good guys.
They're not good dudes.
Black.
Yeah, and I mean, it was one of those things where I totally forgot. Yeah. I mean, I forgot Tyrion was there at one point, too. Right. And, like, I completely forgot that
some of them are okay. Some of them chose to go. Jon Snow, Aemon Targaryen chose to go. He didn't want to be king. He didn't want to be king. And instead passed it down to his brother and chose to go to the Night's Watch because he was worried he would be used in a plot to kill his brother.
Okay, he would have been a great king.
May he rest in peace. Pour another one out for Aemon Targaryen, man. Cheers to Aemon. We miss him so much. Oh. Mm-hmm.
We just poured the wine into our mouths.
Yes, we did.
So that works.
Pour one out into your mouth. Yeah, so...
Hashtag pour one out in your mouth.
Oh, God. That's so icky. Okay, anyway, getting back on the Night's Watch. Yeah, so the guys that attacked Gilly were potentially rapers. Yeah. I hate that word. I hate it. I never want to say it again.
It's so scary.
Anyway, actually, it leads in perfectly to the next topic. So, staying in the north, we get to see the aftermath of what happened between Ramsay and Sansa, and I do have quite a few thoughts on the subject. It's a dangerous subject to talk about. We definitely avoided it in the live podcast, but I think here you and I we're stable enough that we can talk about it. I don't want to give it a lot of time because honestly, I could give an entire episode just speaking about the ramifications and everything that happened and how I feel about it. But I'm just gonna say like a few, like where I stand, and it's not gonna take long, like a minute, and then Carly can say where she stands, and we'll I'll limit myself. So I'm trying to say I'm limiting myself to saying like one or two things at most. So here we go. First off. Get ready, guys. There are numerous ways in which to strip a character's agency, and yet rape seems the most common, especially in female characters. While we need to see realistic portrayals of this on television, I mean, people need to be alerted to the fact that it is a real thing and that it is horrific. Game of Thrones doesn't always need to go there. Shock value isn't everything. We were shocked by the fact that, by the situation, even though a lot of us knew it was coming. I mean, obviously the wedding night she's not marrying Tyrion again.
Right.
She's marrying a terrifying guy who literally sends women out and kills them for the for the thrill of it. And also it seems mightily lazy storytelling, because this exact situation almost happens to the girl that Sansa replaces in the books. Sansa and Jane Poole are not the same, so why would you give them the same story? They go through completely different things. It gets to the point where it's like, okay, where do you draw the line between good writing and lazy writing? Mm-hmm. And secondly, what happened was not Theon's tragedy. And I've sort of seen this as he was not the one being abused and assaulted. So a 10-second slow zoom on his face while we listened to Sansa screaming, I don't think it was necessary. And a lot of this, I think, has to do with the way it was filmed. And so maybe it was a directorial mistake. Because some people saw it as Theon is watching a girl that he's loved for most of her life be assaulted, and he's feeling what we're feeling. And I think that's what it was supposed to echo, but the way it came off was, it's his tragedy. Like, this is about him. What's happening to her, it's just happening to her. But it's Theon that is going through the pain of it. And that's sort of how it came off to me, because I was like, okay, because I'm in TV, like I study it, and so a 10-second zoom on a character that's a principal character normally means that scene is about them.
Right. Everything is intentional.
Exactly.
Visual storytelling.
Those are my words about the horrific scene that went down. It was shocking, definitely. And I was very taken aback by the way in which it was filmed. I wasn't taken aback by the fact that it happened. Mm-hmm. We knew it was going to happen. She knew it was going to happen. Everybody there knew it was going to happen. Right. It was the way it was filmed and the way it was edited and the sound design. Right? Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. And I've had a hard time figuring out how I feel exactly about that scene, because the first time I think everybody saw it, it was so shocking, just because it was Sansa. It wasn't, it was, this is happening to Sansa. We've seen her avoid this for so long, and it's happening in, maybe the worst way possible. Because, Joffrey's one thing. Ramsay is very intelligent and intentional in what he does.
He's the worst.
He's the actual worst. Anybody who likes that character, I want to know them. So
get up and leave. If you're listening to this podcast, get up and out. Leave. Just leave.
GTFO. Right now. Get fo. But I definitely agree with that. And I think, I don't know, it's tough because it's hard. It's a hard scene to figure out.
It is. It is really. I had a lot of feelings going back and forth before I finally settled on. It's not the act that was terrifying. It's the way it was portrayed that was terrifying.
Right. And I don't know, because for me, it was one of those things where, and maybe this is because I am looking way too far into it as a person who has studied film and who has watched way too many of them in my time. But I feel like it can easily be both of their tragedies, but focus on the character who it's going to change more drastically, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because, unless they don't have Theon break out of being Reek at least a little bit in this, and that's why I thought in The Gift because the scene where with the whole candle thing where he goes up to the tower. There was a lot of debate between me and a bunch of my friends about whether or not that was Reek intentionally going up there knowing Ramsay would be up there already, or if
I thought he went to Ramsay's office thing.
No, it was the tower. It was the top
Ramsay
tower.
was waiting in the tower?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought it was that he went to Ramsay's, play. Oh,
it
looks like we need directorial issues. Directorial issues. This is a thing.
It's happening.
I had a problem with the director in this episode, too, actually. Yeah. So Theon proves to be the worst ally ever.
Yeah, pretty. Well, but then it's when you see his face, was this Theon trying to help Sansa, or was this Reek being sneaky about it? Because I still can't figure that out, and I want to rewatch it a million times to see if he... But I don't know. It's really about the director too at this point. Like it's hard to figure out what the intentions are.
Yeah.
If the intentions aren't clear in this episode, and if they weren't clear in the
Unbound, Unbroken.
Yes, I'm not going to try to say it. It's not going to happen. You got this.
I've practiced it a lot. I've practiced it
over and over.
Yeah. So overall, I think we're on the same page. I think a lot of people are on the same page. It was shocking, and I don't think that it was completely necessary.
Yeah.
But we're going to see how it plays out.
Yes.
And now we can move on to brighter pastures, I think.
Exactly.
Because we said our pieces. I felt like I needed to say something, as a woman, and as a feminist, and as a podcast host.
As a human person. As a humanitarian person.
You gotta say your piece.
You gotta say your piece, because it's a traumatic thing.
So, Theon, like I said before, proves to be the worst ally ever.
Yep.
When Sansa begs him to signal for help, he runs to Ramsay, which you don't think he's running to Ramsay. Mm-hmm. The way that was, I guess it was well done, but you and I came away with different opinions.
I thought Ramsay was waiting in the tower.
No, I definitely thought that he was climbing another tower to Ramsay.
Interesting. Wow, Theon sucks, man.
Yeah, man. It's not going to be that easy to heal Reek's mind. It's not going to be just you are the son of Balon Greyjoy. You are, blah, you've been through all this, you know me. It's not going to be that easy.
Well, and then that brings up the question, we were talking about this before, of whether you'd say it.
Unbound, Unbroken?
That one.
In
the final scene, when he's crying, is he crying because it's Theon seeing his, childhood friend and basically sister, like Sansa, having this happen to her, or is it Reek seeing someone be basically tortured in a different way and bringing back memories of how he was tortured? So it's.
I got nothing.
Nobody knows.
No one knows. No one knows. And I think part of it we're going to figure out this season. Mm-hmm. The rest in the remainder of this season, we're going to figure out where Theon is inside of Reek.
Yes.
And one thing I really liked in this episode was that it was Sansa trying to get Reek out, because in the books it's an inner struggle. Because the chapter heads changed to Reek when you're reading it, which is really cool because you're like, this is not Theon.
It's not
this
Theon
is Reek.
Anymore.
But we're getting to see Sansa try and bring Theon out again, and I really like that because she needs something at this point. She's like, oh my god.
Well, now she has no more allies there. Which
exactly.
Is terrifying.
Literally, the woman was flayed alive.
Sad.
But Sansa knows Theon.
Yeah.
She was raised with him. She knows Theon better than Ramsay knows Theon. Ramsay knows Reek.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
She knows Theon. And it's going to take a lot more work than she anticipated. But Sansa is a Northerner. And above everything else, she's a survivor.
Yes.
And I think that that's a really important thing. She's not a victim. She's not a victim anymore.
No.
I think I don't think she's ever been a victim. I mean, she has been someone she was in King's Landing when everyone was playing the game. Somehow she survived. Tyrion was like, you might survive us yet.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very important to remember about Sansa. I think she knows how to play the game. And even though she has been broken, even though she has been abused and hurt, I think that she is a survivor more than anything else.
I completely agree with that, and I think I don't think she's had a need to step up to the plate basically until now. Because I mean, if you look at her first season, she's the
bratty teenager.
Exactly, she's the bratty teenager. Exactly,
she's allowed to be
totally.
She didn't see the evilness of Joffrey. That's fine. She let her love. Everybody's let love cloud their judgment. Granted, none of us have been in love with psychopathic children, but
speak for yourself.
Okay,
speak for yourself.
Yeah, I like to do background checks.
Elementary school. It was.
Oh my god! But yeah, so I think that you're right. She's realized. Oh, I have to bundle up.
Exactly, and I think Littlefinger's quote about that was one of my favorites when he said, "Stop being it wasn't passive." Stop being... He had a great quote about it.
Elaine Stone and start being... That one?
It was when he was first stop, you have to go here and marry Ramsay. He was stop being... Stop running. Basically, he was like, stop running. Stop being afraid. You've always been a watcher and a passive person. It's time to step up and avenge your family.
Take revenge. Yeah,
take revenge.
Absolutely. And I think that she's learning that.
Yes,
slowly. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. I'm just still got that.
I want her to have I know. Oh my gosh. And it's really sad because her wedding with Ramsay is one of the only weddings that has gone off without a hitch until after, like, until, without a
I hate weddings in Game of Thrones.
I know, they're all horrible.
They're all horrible.
They're all terrible.
Is that the white wedding? Because it was snowing. Is that what that's called? The white? I don't know if it has a name.
I want to call it just the dark wedding. Darkness.
The black wedding.
The black hole wedding.
The black hole wedding.
Despair.
Yeah, Also, brief side note, but when Ramsay shows her the flayed body of the older woman, which was so gross, Sansa was totally dressed like Liliana from Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh my god.
Like, and we all know how badass Liliana is, so I think that's also foreshadowing.
I like it.
I definitely, like, the way she was dressed, I was like, Liliana? Liliana, what are you doing in Game of Thrones? I'm so confused, because I'm a Dragon Age nerd. Anyway, Carly, when do you think Brienne's gonna show up and save the day?
Yeah, they had like a 2-second scene of her just staring, right?
She's like, no candle? Alright, I'm back to my sword.
God, it's so frustrating. That's a flawed system.
It is a flawed system.
Yes,
anybody could light a candle in the broken tower.
Okay, A, anybody could light it. B, anybody could figure out, hey, if somebody lights a candle up here, somebody's gonna come rescue them.
Right.
Let's block off the tower. Like,
she's gonna, like, I'm worried that, like, Stannis is gonna march and she's gonna feel like she has to kill Stannis instead of save Sansa.
Oh, no.
And I'm really worried that she's gonna take, like, her revenge for Catelyn, which I'm all about, but also, just take it out on Melisandre, don't take it out on Stannis.
Please take it out on Melisandre.
Don't touch my precious man. Don't touch him. Don't touch my precious. My precious.
Yeah.
Anyway. This is the most fun I've had recording a podcast, like, ever.
Oh my god, Sam. I mean, granted, it's like my third podcast, but
I love it.
This is the best.
I'm so glad.
Oh my god.
I just hope Brienne shows up.
I really hope she does.
Knight in shining armor. No Theon. We don't need Theon. We need Brienne.
No, well, Theon is MIA. Theon is somewhere else. Brienne, I feel like Brienne has enough intuition to kind of figure out something's not right.
Yeah.
And I feel like she will kind of march in and figure out a way to get in there when she is needed.
Yeah. The problem is that Roose Bolton knows who she is.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, like, the terrifying thing is, like, but he did, like, give her, like, when Jaime and she were passing through, he did, like, let her stay with them, and he was kind to her, but once he left, it was his men that, like, threw her in the bear pit.
That's
Remember that? Like, but he wasn't there, so I almost wonder if she were to go in and be like, I still am for the Lannisters, like, maybe it would be okay, but I'm hoping she's planning something way better. Just like, I'm Brienne of Tarth, I have Valyrian steel, Lannisters, I
feel like she must be, because, like, also, third time's a charm. Yeah. First time she tried to, like, make allies with Arya, didn't work out. Second time, tried with Sansa, didn't work out. Yeah. This is the third time. She's figuring out now it's not going to be that easy just to say, hey, I served your mother, I'm so loyal to her, I'm here to help out.
I know she's dead, but...
Yeah. She's dead. Minor details, it's fine.
Yeah.
Which... I know.
Still hurts.
Mama
still hurts. Still hurts. Oh my god.
Always will.
Oh my god. Okay, so we'll move on because we've been talking a lot. It's too sad. I don't want to think about Catelyn Stark anymore.
Too real.
So, of course, the most nerve-wracking scene for me during this episode was between Melisandre and Stannis. Yes. Well, I have faith in my king's path. One of the reasons I stand behind Stannis is that he never strays from doing the right thing. And sometimes the right thing is the hardest thing that you can do. And, like, my honest-to-God hope is that for once Stannis will choose his heart over his mind. But, like, my God, if Shireen dies for a freaking war, I will run for the hills. I am done. Because that is so much character building for Stannis and for this lovely little girl that we care about now.
I know.
I get mad thinking about it. I'm like, how dare you? And they've already filmed it, they've already edited it, it's already coming. Like, whatever's coming is coming. But I swear to God, I will be furious.
And like, that's what worries me is because when they had that beautiful moment between him and his daughter where he's like, you're my daughter, I love you. Oh, it was beautiful. But the reason I'm afraid of it is because when a scene like that happens, either it's going to be great in the future or it's going to be really, really heartbreaking. So it could be one of those things where it's like, oh, I love you, but you know what? It's time to sacrifice you.
Or she's going to, sacrifice herself or something.
Oh, I think that'd be worse.
That'd be so much worse.
I think it would be worse.
I have a theory that I'm actually going to talk about later in Davos Talk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But, like, I swear, I literally get so angry when I think about it. I was so stressed out. Because you know it's going to come to something like that. It's going to come to, like, a Sophie's Choice moment.
Oh.
And, like, Stannis
Oh
my man. God. Like, oh god.
Stannis,
please. My mantis.
Your mantis.
When I'm on Tumblr and I see him on my dashboard, I always reblog it with the tag Mantis Guide Me.
Oh my god.
In all caps.
I'm gonna look for that every time I go on Tumblr now. I'm just gonna scroll until I find it.
Mantis Guide Me.
Mantis Guide Me.
Mantis Guide. Anyway, backtracking a little though, because I always somehow get on a tangent when it comes to Stannis. He said, I just love Stephen Delane. He said something that I think rings quite true for this season of Game of Thrones as a whole. After Davos, the Knight of My Heart, tells his king that they should fall back to Castle Black and wait out the winter, Stannis says, we march to victory or we march to defeat, but we go forward, only forward. Season 5, if anything, has been about moving forward no matter if the odds are in your favor or not. And Stannis knows the battle ahead of him isn't just one of strength, it's one of heart as well. Mm-hmm. Winter isn't just coming anymore, it's arrived. But it's not just my mantis that knows this to be true. Arya, who wasn't even in this episode, has elected to move forward instead of back, becoming someone entirely different than she was before. Tyrion knows now what he's worth. He's not worth it as a Lannister in King's Landing. He's worth something as a Lannister somewhere else. And all of these characters are choosing not to dwell on the past, but move forward whether it kills them or not. The past is dead. It's the future they gotta worry about. It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
It's pretty dark, but like, I sort of think that it's so important that Stannis said that, because, like, we know who our main characters are. And we know that the choices ahead of them are going to be freaking hard.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen no matter what. And that's what they have to worry about. They can't continue to think about what's behind them.
Right. And I mean, I think with this decision, with the whole idea of, hey, you can sacrifice your daughter. Oh, thank you. You can sacrifice your daughter, and it'll bring you this, you know, what was it? Like, you'll win the war if you sacrifice her?
Yeah, so Melisandre draws power from King's blood.
Okay.
From royal blood.
All right. So I feel like Stannis, I'm going to stay optimistic about it and say that Stannis is not going to take this bait, because I know this makes you happy.
It does. It makes me so happy.
But, I mean, I genuinely feel that way, because I feel like if he doesn't take the bait, it would prove him as a better leader than if he did. Because if he did, it would be an easy way out. And choosing the easy way out when you're trying to prove that you can take the Iron Throne and you can be the one true leader of, you know, the one true king of Westeros, basically. Or, you know, it's not about taking easy routes out. You're so happy.
I'm like silently celebrating.
Silently screaming.
Keep going, baby. Keep going. Keep telling him. Keep telling him what I want to tell him all the time about Stannis Baratheon. Honestly, if you had told me in season 2 that I would love him this much, I would have been shut the front door.
Well, he was such a side person. Now he's very much a main player, and I feel like
it's all because of Davos. That's the reason I love him.
It's all because of Davos. It all comes back to Davos. But I mean, okay, you're gonna just calm yourself when I say this. Good. His decision to say, you know, get out when, you know, Melisandre was like, hey, we can sacrifice your kid, like, no big deal. Hot. And I mean, sure. But also, I was like, okay, now he's one of my favorite characters, because he could have easily been like, yeah, throw her in the fire or whatever.
He struggles with it. He's like,
he made a leader's choice.
He's like, are you out of your mind? That's my daughter.
Exactly. And he made a leader's choice. And I think that proves that, you know what, he has what it takes. I don't think he'll go back on this decision. And if he does, then he deserves to die.
I agree. That's the worst part, is that I agree. Like, if he chooses to kill his daughter, that is something you can't come back from.
Oh, no.
That is, like, I don't even know who the level of hell that you would go to. Like, it's higher than Ramsay. It's higher than Ramsay. He, you know, but, like, maybe, like, a little higher. No, Joffrey. Yeah, you're right. He'd probably be about Joffrey
level. Yeah, that's a good ranking system. Awful.
I don't want that, because, side note, when did Stannis get time to grow a beard? Because, like, I'm pretty sure when that happened, I saw the light.
It was, you know, it's cold. He needed the warmth.
I know. It
just happened faster.
I know. And, like, you laugh at me, but I'm not joking. Like, my friends had to pause it for a second while I sorted out my belief system.
I'm not even laughing. I believe this. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not on that level, because I'm more of I didn't mention this before, I forgot.
You're a Tyrion lady.
I'm a Tyrion lady, which is the biggest surprise. But
Stannis is surprising to me, man. I don't know.
Plot twists everywhere in this show, in real life.
So, like, honestly, I would be heartbroken if that were to happen.
Yeah.
But I do have a theory that I will get to later. Okay, that's enough Stannis chat for one day.
So much Stannis.
I could, like, literally put a segment in about me just talking about how I love Stannis and the beard.
This is news
But I'm
to
not
me.
gonna. I'm not gonna do that for the sake of my listeners. So there were a few short scenes in this that I wanna talk about. There are two. I really like the scene between Dario and Daenerys.
Yes.
I did not enjoy Dany's wig. But that is beside the point. Her wig was awful in that scene. It was so bad. But what we saw here, apart from the badness of that, although it was quite brief, was Dany very much coming into her own as a leader. Mm-hmm. Of course, she would like nothing more than to kill every last master and marine, but like she said, she's a queen, not a butcher.
Right.
And I think that that's a really important. They always work that line in. I'm a queen, not a... Shut up.
Well, it's interesting, too, because before it was, I'm a Khaleesi, not a queen.
Right, but
so
now
what does that mean?
But she's a queen now.
Character development.
I know. The question is, how far is this talk going to carry her? I mean, do you think there's any truth to Dario saying that all rulers are either butchers or meat? Or do you think Dany is carving a path of her own?
Ooh, so to speak.
Did you like that?
I liked
Play
it.
on words?
I liked it. It was good. It was clever.
Thank you.
I was about to make a really bad pun. I'm really glad I didn't.
Oh my god, no, please do it now.
No, I
Please
can't.
do
I
it.
can't now. I said it was clever, and I thought of meat cleaver. I was like, so cleaver.
So cleaver. Oh god.
Anyway,
I love puns.
moving on. Oh my goodness, so wonderful. That's a really good question, actually.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm a podcast host.
What? What's your podcast?
What? It's called You Got Got. We're actually talking on it right now.
What?
Meta.
Whoa.
Blah. What is that? Inception. Blah. Blah. Anyway,
so much editing.
I'm not going to edit any of this. I want you to know that. People need to know. People need to know.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Oh man, yeah, that's a good question. That's I think
Did I stump you?
You honestly did, because I've thought a lot about Dany being a leader, and I think she's getting there, and she's doing a good job. And like that scene was a very telling scene where, you know, there were a lot of things said on her part where there was very obvious growth as, oh my, you know, she's actually learning, she's figuring this out. This is great, which is fast. Because it's been weeks, probably, not even, maybe a week since the last episode. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the show. Yeah. And she's already kind of figuring out the ways of being a leader on her own now. But, I think she's probably going to be more likely to carve out her own path. And
I think so, too.
Yeah, because, I mean, she's taken advice before. She doesn't have a main person to go to anymore. She's found out, I know. She's found out.
She's gonna.
I don't know.
We're gonna get to that in a minute.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Oh, my God. I know what you're talking about now. It's me. Okay. I got really excited.
You're talking about this, so you better.
I know. I don't know why. Yes. Okay. But I lost my train of thought.
She's gonna be a good leader because Tyrion's gonna show up and teach her the ways. That's really the matter. But I mean, she's carving her own path, though. I agree. I don't think that she's going to be a butcher or meat. I think that she is going to be whatever is in between that.
I agree, and I think
she's going to be the cleaver.
She's going to be the cleaver.
But not the cleaver that kills. The cleaver that's like polished, but like not totally polished.
It cuts off the fat of the meat that needs to stay.
That's it.
Yes.
That was amazing. That was amazing. High five for that. Okay, so next up on my list of favorite little ditties. I loved the scene between Olenna Tyrell and the High Sparrow. I thought it took the cake.
Yes.
For being the best scene of this episode. And I was so entranced the first time I watched it that I didn't really know what they were talking about. I was just like, yes, and yeah. Jonathan Pryce is talking to me. Diana Rigg. What do you guys? I love you guys. Like, I was just like, one of the things
No, I was just going to say she needs to be in more scenes all the time.
All the time.
Because she's amazing.
Give me, just a show about her.
Oh, yeah. This is Grandma Tyrell we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little rough with names. Yeah.
The Queen of Thorns.
The Queen of Thorns.
Yes.
I want to be her.
Grandma Tyrell. So I'd really, really like her and Davos to be my grandparents.
Yes.
Like not replacing my grandparents, but just like an extra set of grandparents.
Talk like the neighbors who are old, who you kind of consider your grandma and grandpa like of the neighborhood. Godparents. OTG. want your grandparents.
Godparents.
Yes.
Yeah, that works. Yeah,
Grammar, it does not apply right
not
now.
even a little bit.
Don't worry about it.
So, one of the things I love most about the High Sparrow is that he's just as cunning as everyone else in King's Landing, but he's simple enough that it just flies under the radar.
Yeah.
Like, he knows shit. That's the second time I've sweared.
Whoa.
Sworn.
I
don't know.
What do you prefer?
I don't know. Don't ask me that question when I'm how many of our glasses. We're finished a bottle of wine.
It's gone. Yeah, it's in our bodies.
So I think that his simplisticness is the reason he catches Olenna off guard. Like, and anyone can do that has an A+ in my book because she's so amazing. Like, because she's such a witty character, but like so smart. Sort of that. The vocal sparring that happened between the two of them was just so good. Like, he undermined her constantly. Yeah. And he, like, just, everything she said, he was like, bam, bam, I got you, nailed it.
This season has been...
Mic drop.
Mic drop. This season has been all about throwing the shade and just passive aggressiveness. Yep. That's been so prevalent in this season. I mean, like, it is heavy with that. It's like... Totally. Oh my god, it's like Game of Thrones goes like high school, like popular crowd. Because everyone's just throwing the shade.
Someone's got leather jackets on.
Oh, totally.
And other people wearing plaid, and it's like bam, bam, bam.
Completely.
Plaid and leather jackets. That's what I see as high school.
What are these two groups? This is like Freaks and Geeks. It's probably Freaks and Geeks. This is high school in the 80s, Game of Thrones.
In Detroit, or wherever they are. In Michigan. I know Freaks and Geeks is set in Michigan. I don't know. It's like they talk about Ford Plant or whatever.
I believe it.
Anyway, both Olenna Tyrell and the High Sparrow had the same end goal in mind, but their reasons behind wanting, those are what set them apart. The Lannister reign needs to be over and done with, but while Olenna took the murderous approach, obviously, I mean, she had everything to do with Joffrey being killed, the High Sparrow is patient, and he's going to wait till the information comes to him. Yeah. And I think that that's what's really just so cool about him as a character, because... Like, someone asked me if I thought that he was... I think it was Kyle, my editor. He was like, do you think that he's bloodthirsty and that he just wants power? Or do you think that he just wants to do what's right by the faith? And
that's an interesting character.
It's what he...
Or
wants
question, not character. I mean,
he is an interesting character.
Yeah, but not the right word.
No, honestly, like, I think that he just wants to do right by the faith.
That's
all he wants. He, you know, like, that's all he wants. And I think that makes such an interesting character.
I think I agree with that. I don't know. I think...
Like, he is chaotic neutral. If we're talking about D&D alignments, he is chaotic neutral.
I actually really like that description of it. I don't know, though. I feel like with him, it's always hit me in the way that there might be something else going on, just in the sense that I do think he is... wanting to do right by the faith, and that is his main goal, and that's what drives him. I do think that he's an intelligent character, and I think that he can use that to be like, but I also, I can also see like this aspect and how I can see him doing something a little deeper. Yeah. So I don't know. That's where I stand on that. I think he's one I'm a little less familiar with, but I'm very intrigued.
He's totally different in the books, so I'm interested to see when you get there what it's going to be like. Because in the books, I would say he is power hungry.
Oh, interesting.
I would argue that he's pretty, like, the way, the changes that they've made with him, I love. Also, I love Jonathan Pryce as an actor. I mean, he's Elizabeth Swann's dad in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So, like, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, I know. Take it all in.
Oh, my God.
Jonathan Pryce.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, so, anyway, moving on. Littlefinger finally gets to make his play. Yes. Similar to how he gave Cersei the young Oliver.
I like Oliver.
He has a gift for Olenna Tyrell as well. God, I keep doing that rhyming thing. I don't know what it is. I just rhyme. Thank you. His gift is that of a handsome blonde who gave up his family name for the faith.
Oh my.
Oh my. But we'll get to Lancel a little later on. Because now it's time to move on over to Dorne. Where, honestly, not that much happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Carly, as a non-book reader to this point, you haven't read Dorne yet.
No.
Knowing nothing about Dorne before this season, is this what you expected? Because I, myself, am exceedingly disappointed. Every single time we're in Dorne, it's like HBO downgrades to the CW.
I
like CW shows. I mean, I love Supernatural. I did give up on it. Let's not talk about it. I did give up on it. I'm gonna get back there. But I love Arrow. I love The Flash. I love Jane the Virgin. Like, I love those shows. But, like, the quality somehow... I mean, it's not HBO quality.
No, it's not.
And with how big a success Oberyn was in season 4, you'd expect Dorne to be exactly the same.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And it's kind of downgraded into this revenge story that really, I can see what it would do for maybe 2 episodes, where it would be, we're bringing this back briefly, and, but it's being dragged on so far, and you just lose care for it so quickly. The Sand Snakes,
oh my god,
I do not care. I could not care less.
It's bad acting, and also accents.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to show you. I can't. Here we go. I'm showing you literally on my phone. I wrote down on my phone that the accents sound like Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove, but with an accent.
The poison for Cusco?
The poison meant for Cusco. Cusco's poison.
That's
poison.
That was literally, like, they took that scene,
yes,
and they transplanted it into this episode with Tynion's poison of Bronn.
That and, like, Oberyn's girlfriend, wife, I don't know who she was, but she's always like, yes, like, finger steep.
I know!
We must destroy them. And I'm like,
yes.
Come on. Like,
but have you seen this? But, oh, God, no. But, poison knife. Oh, thank God. If you haven't seen The Emperor's New Groove, shame on you.
It's the Dorne of Disney, basically. That's what... It's better than Dorne. It's better than the storyline that Dorne has had this season, which is so upsetting because...
I would love to see Dorne set in The Emperor's New Groove.
100%! Because, like, I was so excited when they were like, we're going to go into Dorne, we're going to get more... Because Dorne has been this mystery for a non-book reader yet.
I swear, just read... Like, Dorne is mostly book 4.
Okay.
And, like... I thought it was very slow, but now I am so happy I read it. Because, like, I have this light that I can go back to. And the light is Arianne Martell, who is a character they took out of the show.
What?
They took out the point of view character of the books and replaced her with Ilaria Sand.
Oh.
And the Sand Snakes.
Oh.
And it's just like, and she was so badass. What? She was so cool.
Oh, that's so upsetting because, like, if in the last episode, the Sand Snake scene in the prison... What did that do? Unless they had killed...
It did nothing.
It did literally nothing.
I'm about to get to that.
Oh.
Okay, so here's the deal. Let's just blow over what happened in Dorne really quickly, and then we can get into that.
It's forgettable.
So we get Marcella, who has replaced Sansa as the whiny teenager, but is a pawn. Like, at least Sansa had, like, she could move around and be like, oh, I love Joffrey, my one true love. But, she didn't actually love Joffrey. Like, she was not. No. Marcella literally is just like, yeah, I love him. Shut up. Sorry. I'm, like, because, like, and Jamie is just sort of, like, hanging out, like, yo, I'm your uncle. But also your dad. But I can't say that. Yeah. So I'm just your uncle. But here I am with my awkward golden hand that I can
It is so awkward. He's always like, shake my hand.
I know.
Shake my golden hand.
He, like, moves it like it's... Like, I love it. It's great acting on his part. Because, like, it's very awkward, but it's so funny.
Well, it's hilarious. It was cool when he blocked the sword. I was like, oh, there's a purpose.
Finally, it means something.
There's something, but it's not just awkward and, like, pointing at things like that character on SNL with the tiny hands.
I know. Okay, so that's Jamie and Marcella. I don't even know what they were talking about. She was just like, I love Chastain. I want to stay here. And he's like, but you can't. You're in danger. And she's like, I don't care. I love him.
It was
and then
she
stalks away. And he's like, okay, fine. And I'm just like, what's the point? So then we have the Sand Snakes.
Yes.
I was so excited for them. Because, like, the way they really amped them up, they, like, introduced us to the actresses, and we, like, met them, and we were really excited, all the behind-the-scenes stuff, and I was like, yeah, Sand Snakes are going to be so bad. They are the biggest disappointment I swear I've ever experienced in TV. Like, honestly, what was the point of Tyene showing her nakedness to the world?
I will say, she has a rocking body, and I want to
amazing body. Yeah, same. Yeah. I'm literally started going to the gym yesterday. I was like, okay, sweet, yeah. No, great body. But was the director, like, just, like, what the fuck? We did not need to see all of the shots of her boobs. It was not, like, as a man, I know, or a lesbian, which neither of I am, unfortunately. I'm sorry, world.
I know, right?
Darn. Like, I can appreciate the naked form. Absolutely. Totally. And she has a great body. Like, beautiful. it was not necessary to
It was
see it that
so
many times.
So unnecessary. There was no point, and it didn't forward anything in the plot. Like,
I feel like the only point was the looks that her sister gave her.
Yeah.
They were just like they mirrored my own.
The side eye.
I was like, yeah, they're like, I don't know which one of them. One of them just gave her the biggest side eye, and I was like, oh my god, I love you. Like, I love you.
That's gift worthy, where it's just like you zoom in on her being like, why?
I know, it was like The Office. Like, she could have been on The Office if they had had a fun... Yeah, she's like the gym. Which sister is that? Nymeria. That's Nymeria.
Okay, yeah, same name as the wolf.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Very. So there's Obara, Nymeria, and Tyene. Those are the three.
Great names.
Obara has the she's the one with the horrible accent.
They all have horrible accents.
Obara, the one with the spear... The worst accent. I don't know what she's trying. Like, I don't know what they were directing her to do. But because she's a fine actress, like great, whatever. She's working with what she's given.
Yeah.
And then Tyene is the short haired, who's technically supposed to be blonde haired and blue eyed, but like that's
what?
Yeah, they changed all that too.
I will say
it's cool that they did that because Dorne is a different place, and like seeing a blonde haired, blue eyed chick that is Dornish would be like, wait, I'm confused.
They look Oberon-esque, and I will say too. If you were in a world like Game of Thrones, where anything goes, it's a brand new world, you can do, whatever you want, and an accent does not sound real and does not make sense, you know it's bad. Because this is an amazing, beautiful fantasy world, and the accent still sounds terrible.
It was awful.
It was like so bad every time.
Honestly, her wanting to be the most beautiful woman in the world, like, would she really have killed Bronn? She would have killed Bronn for, like, her own, like self-involvement.
Yeah. It's like...
Here's the little tiny, flask of antidote.
Yeah, that all seemed very convenient, by the way. Like, oh, it's just now kicking in. Like, does it kick in when you're turned on?
When my boobs are out. Like, oh, hey, check me out.
Endorphins, or whatever you get when you... This shows how much I am with, anyone sexual. I don't even know what it's called. I'm like, endorphins. Dopamine, something.
Testosterone. Was it the testosterone levels that, like, kicked it into high gear? Maybe. And he was like, yes, I'm about to die, but I have a heart on, so we're good. Like, was that... Like, I literally
gotta die.
I mean, he did say he wanted to die in the arms of a beautiful woman. It's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
I mean, what he got was pretty close, but no, thank God he didn't. I would have been so upset. Like, it takes more than poison to kill everyone's favorite sellsword, I feel like. But I still think that was the most pointless scene.
Yeah.
Like, I don't...
It had no purpose. There was no point to it, and it was like, it was boring.
That episode was so filled with things that we needed to know.
Right, and
that a brainless scene, maybe they were like, oh yeah, a brainless scene might be good for him. No.
No, and that's the thing with this episode, is this is the first episode, and I mentioned before that this is the episode that was both had the strongest points and the weakest points. This, to me, is the one that stood out as by far one of the weakest points of the season.
The only thing that was worse was their introduction.
Yeah.
Their introduction was so bad.
Oh, it was horrible.
What was... I'm going to spend all this time digging this hole for this man, but make sure the scorpions don't kill him when I put the bucket on his head, but boom, I'm going to kill him anyway.
See, like, honestly, I totally forgot about that until you mentioned it, because I blocked it out because I was bored.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
They're badass women. I want to love them. I am so ready to love them, but I don't.
No, not at all. Not in the least bit. There was so much potential there, too. They could have been so cool. And, like, even the fight that they had against, like, Jaime.
It was all so bad.
It was horrible.
I was typing to Kyle. I was like, this is awful. I'm cringing. Like, this is so bad.
Yeah.
Like, and I knew the Sansa scene was coming, so I was like, oh my god, like, it's just gonna get from bad to worse.
They're
like,
killing time.
I can't handle it. Like, what is happening? It was so bad. Like, it's so clunky. And I'm so upset. Because, like, badass female characters, I want all of.
Oh, yeah. They're the best. I mean, badass female characters are fantastic. If they had Mad Max that shit, and... Oh, see, I just swore on your podcast.
You did! Hey. And I just saw Mad Max, so I know what you're talking about.
Fantastic, because...
Love that movie.
It was a fantastic movie, and my thing...
we need some Imperator Furiosa in there, like, yeah.
Because...
Charlize Theron, show up, man.
100%, because it's not even a badass female, it's a badass person. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have a gender separation there, and I wish it was like that with the Sandstakes. I wish they were just these badass human beings who were awesome, and they're just not. They're just boring and dumb, and I don't like them.
Okay. Yes. All right. I think we've railed on the Sand Snakes.
We have went a lot. Yeah, it's been a while.
Carly, do you want to take us through what happened with Tyrion and Jorah?
Oh my gosh. All right.
Starting with do you remember the selling of...
I do. Yeah. Yes, yeah, I do. Good, I was actually just wondering if that was the same episode.
Yeah, that was the same episode, yep.
All right, so they are kind of... What would you say it was? Like a kind of like slave...
Yeah, slave trader.
Yeah, slave traders.
Yeah, they were up on the block. They were like...
Right.
Like this. They were showing...
That's... Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
for all your viewers to see on your Audible podcast.
I forget who my audience is sometimes.
I liked it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I can make the ugliest faces in the world, and they don't know.
They would never know.
It's great. I love being a podcaster.
Your ugliest faces are the most beautiful faces.
Stop it. Okay, continue on, because I'm going to start... I'm blushing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Tyrion and Jorah are very much on the slave sellers block. They're being sold off... I mean, essentially into slavery. That's what's happening.
They are literally being sold into slavery.
They're literally being sold into slavery. And Jorah kind of proves his ability to fight. Tyrion, and he gets bought off, so he's safe. He's kind of in the green. He gets bought off.
He killed the call. He killed the call. He's badass.
He's flexing his muscles.
So hot.
That comes into play as well.
Yeah, it does. His looks come into play. Hell yeah.
We don't care about your fighting, but your face, though.
Yeah, we care about that.
Do enjoy and approve.
Bring it on, Ian Glenn. All right. Continuing on.
Yes. So not everybody is so sold on Tyrion. And Tyrion, as he does, and as he did in the previous episode when they were going to castrate him, basically, he proves himself, and he beat someone up.
He beat the shit out of that guy.
Beat the shit out of that guy. I was like 75% like, whoa, you're a badass, and like 25%
easy there,
kind of turned on.
Yes.
Like, I was like, whoa.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Chains and shit? I was like, yeah, you show them, baby.
Hell yeah. Keep the chains on. This is... Oh god, it's so bad.
Okay.
Alright, so that happens, and Tyrion again proves himself, which for me is, they're really building that up. They're really building, in the previous episode, they showed him, really in every episode he's in, he's always on his feet and able to come up with something very witty and clever. Not even witty, just clever.
Just, like, get himself where he needs to be.
Yes, and I mean, like he said in book 1, Jaime has his sword, Robert Baratheon had his warhammer, but Tyrion has his mind. And a mind needs a book as a sword needs a whetstone. And so Tyrion has
you nailed that.
Hell yeah,
so
thank you. But Tyrion has that. He has this cunning ability to be able to think on his feet and get himself out of these situations, which I'm not saying makes a great leader, but he's a very good thinker, and he's very good at problem solving, and that's such an important thing as a leader, and it's such an important thing as somebody who might be a consultant to a leader.
Yep.
So anyway, they are both bought off after he, proves himself as, hey, you buy Jorah, you buy me too, because I'm also a fighter. I can fight. He, once again, as his character does over and over again, proves himself to be fantastic and amazing. Later on, Dany and future husband...
Hisdar.
I won't try to say it.
Hisdar.
Hisdar?
Yeah.
Hisdar.
Hisdar's a Lorak.
Hisdar. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Hisdar all the rest. Hisdar. They are watching the finally opened fighting pits.
Which I thought were very unimpressive.
Yeah, they were really kind of lame.
Because in the books, they made him out to be like this badass, like, theater shit. And I was like, when they showed, I was like, that's a sand cast. That's like a sand pit.
It's like a hole a child digs in the sand on the beach.
Exactly.
I was expecting Coliseum.
I was too.
Right?
I was like, yeah, like, give me the sand pits. Like, yeah, I can't wait for the fighting pits to
Throw
open.
a lion in.
Coliseum shit. No.
It was just a pit.
What was it? It was like a play, like a sandbox. That's what it was. It was a sandbox.
I guess it was honest. It was the fighting pit, and it truly was a pit. It was like, this is a pit.
It was the pit.
The pit was the pits.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, sorry. I had to say that.
No. It was, they're doing their thing in the fighting pits, and Jorah runs out.
Because he sees Khaleesi because she about to leave.
Because he sees his love. And she's about to get out.
I feel so bad about it.
I really wish I could. I really like their, like,
it's like my trashiest shit. Like, it's so gross. Like, because it's so gross in the books because she's 13 and he's so much older and ugly.
Oh,
and, like, like, he's very much just, like, a very unattractive, like, gross love. But in the show, it's just, like...
He's so beautiful.
He's so hot.
They're both beautiful.
And, like, she is... And, like, he loves her, but it's not, like, a creepy love. Like, he doesn't kiss her like he does. In the books, he kisses her, so get ready for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's
and it's gross. But, like, in this, like, he just loves her.
He does. And, like, maybe I'm saying this just because I'm so friend-zoned. But, like, it's one of those things, I'm not really, but, like, I think I am sometimes. But, like, I can relate to Jorah, where it's like, oh, I love you, and you don't love me.
The one I love doesn't love me back.
Exactly.
Everybody's been there. We get it.
We get it, man. Like, he's the most relatable character in Game of Thrones. Yeah. Friend zone. We get you, man. Chill with us.
We're there. Hang out with us.
Have some wine. It's all good. It's fine.
Yeah, drink wine with me, Jorah. Please.
Any day. Any day. Oh.
But yeah.
What was the question?
I didn't have a question.
Right. We were talking about the actual fighting bits.
Yeah, so he works his shit out. He, like, works it out.
Oh, he runs out. He slays. He straight up slays. I mean, there's some good
The guy is like, yeah, I got my money worth. I got my money's worth with this fucker.
The guy's sitting back and he's like, yeah. And, like, Jorah is just fighting. Tyrion is still all chained up in the place.
Oh my god,
this is the worst. And then
unsung
this guy,
hero.
Unsung hero. And then this guy, big dude, like, really big dude, menacingly walks up to Tyrion, and you're like, well, this is the last of Tyrion.
Love you, man. Good luck.
Goodbye. We loved your character. We're going to have a great funeral for you with a lot of wine, and it's just, we're going to pour one out. We're going to pour 12 out for Tyrion.
Yep.
But then this menacing dude, cuts him free, which was so strange, but, like, great.
A crazy random happenstance. That would never, ever happen, ever. But, you know what? Thank you.
Totally.
I will say he was the unsung hero of that episode. He let Tyrion go so that
Tyrion could run out. And Jorah, I think at this point, it reminded me of her mom. Jorah's defeated pretty much everybody.
Oh yeah, no, he took his helmet off.
Takes off the helmet, and then Dany's like, get out.
And I was like, no.
I know. Well, it was such a Sansa Brienne moment and, like, Arya Brienne moment where it's like, get out. And you're like, no, it's going to be a great partnership. And then, wait. Just silence. Silence for a moment. And then the moment happens. Where
I brought
Tyrion,
you a gift.
Jorah goes, I brought you a gift. And Tyrion, like the valiant man he is, walks out and he goes, Daenerys Targaryen, my name is Tyrion Lannister. And I freaked out. Like, this is the moment
and I am your
was
gift,
like,
and I was like,
oh.
I literally screamed.
I internally screamed. I was in a room full of people, and, like, I
was too.
Oh, yeah. But I barely knew these people, so I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. So, like, inside, I was like, there was a party, and, like, there was wine. Wine is a theme.
Fireworks were going off.
Fireworks.
Wine being poured. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Literally,
that moment I've been waiting for.
Thank you.
Oh.
Because I was, like, in the books, my one thing is that Tyrion's journey to Daenerys takes a really long time. It takes the entirety of Book 5. Oof. And he never meets her.
What?
In the books. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, I just spoiled that. Anyway, yeah, he never meets her in the books.
Oh, God.
So, for book readers, I think we were all just like, thank you. Thank you for giving us something that we never got.
Because it's a great partnership.
Because, like, it's the best. Out. So, like, I am so glad they fast-tracked that story. My nose is itching. I'm really sorry. I keep scratching it. It's gross.
You were like...
I'm just, like, itching my nose. No, I was so freaking excited. Oh. Swan song was going off in my head.
I loved that moment sexually. I was like, this is my favorite moment of anything that's
It's my sexual orientation.
My sexual orientation and my religion,
is
both.
Dany, Tyrion.
Meeting Tyrion.
And Jorah's there, too.
And Jorah's there. They all have to be. And it's like, just when he's like, my name's Tyrion Lannister, and they looked at each other, I was like, worlds collide.
I really thought the episode was going to end there.
Same,
And I was like, thank you, that's the best ending I could ever get. Until...
And then,
are you good with? We can talk about Tyrion lore if you want, but
I will take up the rest of the night talking about
Tyrion.
Same,
and we've already.
We should move on.
Okay, so this episode was like jam packed. Like wow, because we thought that was the end. Like there were so many good points that I thought it could have ended at, and then bam, we got more. And so I thought that was the end, and then bam, no. After what seems like 7 episodes, because it was 7 episodes, Cersei finally gets what's coming to her.
Oh.
The thing about the game is that everyone is playing it. Right. And without knowing it, Cersei's fall from grace started and finished. And it isn't just her incompetence as a ruler that has come into play, but now that Lancel has spoken the truth, about everything, Cersei is done for.
Oh yeah,
you had to know that this was coming, right? Like, how do you feel? You didn't know?
I did not see it coming, and maybe I mean, you knew something bad was going to happen because they built her up and they had her at such kind of a high pedestal because it wasn't so much that she was in power like she thought she was. It was they were building her up in the mentality of, oh, I'm so powerful, when really she does not have that power. And I like Cersei a lot. I think she's a fascinating character. I think she kind of deserved this.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, completely.
I think she's a badass lady, and I'm like I said, I'm all about that. But like the woman needs to be brought down.
To be shown like what's happening, and she needs to be grounded in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that they did that I prefer in the show that they did not do in the books is they sort of give her this scene with Tommen.
Yeah.
Right before all this goes down. And it's a bit tougher because you realize that every single thing that she has done is for her family.
Right.
Like, every precaution she has taken, like, every, like, letter she has written, it has all been to protect her son.
Right.
Who is the only one she has left to protect. And so now it's and so that was one thing that they didn't do in the show, in the books as much. It was like she got arrested because she's just like a really not a good person. But like in the show, they made it out like she made these decisions for a reason. Like she's doing it for a reason.
Right.
And so I think that that's the hardest part. Granted, I mean, she had sex with her brother and she let her husband die. Like that, and that's just horrible.
Yeah.
So there is that. But I do think that like it's going to get worse.
Yes.
From here on out for her.
I think so too.
Absolutely. I know this reading. I don't know how they're going to do it in the show, but it is in the books. It gets way worse. Oof. Like not way worse, but you're just like, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
No, totally. And I mean, for her, anything from where she was is worse. Yep. So where she is right now,
she's not going to get wine every day. And I feel for her.
I see, in that aspect, I'm like, girl.
I'm so sorry.
I am so sorry.
You don't get to wear that awesome outfit again. You're going to be gorgeous. In, like she's going to be in Marjorie-style clothing now. Because, Marjorie's in the black cells. They're, and like, everybody is there.
They're all there. Marjorie, she could look good in anything, though. I love her. She's my girl crush in the show.
Natalie Dormer. Oh, my God. What a beaut. So now the question is, what is Tommen going to do? Rather, what will he be able to do? Yeah. Because he is alone in the castle with literally zero guidance.
I'm just going to say it, he's the most useless character, I mean, of the whole show. Which is sad, because it's not his fault.
No.
But, like, this is a bold statement, and it's probably wrong. I'm just going to say it, though. Cool. Even Joffrey
knew what to do.
He at least had some idea. I
don't know if you listened to this. I know you've listened to a few episodes, but like there was an episode where Kyle and I were like, when Tommen goes up to the steps and like the Faith Militant is there and he backs away. Kyle and I were both like, we need Joffrey.
Yeah.
Joffrey would not let this shit stand. Joffrey would be like, kill them all.
Yeah.
Kill them all. I don't care. Just kill them. And sort of, like, at this point, like, I love the High Sparrow. I don't know, I agree with what he stands for. I love him as a character. I don't, but, like, Joffrey would have had this done and in the bag by now. And Tommen is just like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
My wife is pretty and I like cats.
Yeah, that's literally Tommen in a character, though, which is so... I mean, I can relate to that. I'm like, I love...
Yeah, your wife is pretty, and I love cats, too, but, sweetheart, you're the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms, like...
Yeah,
and now he has the worst small council ever.
Oh, it's bad. It's like, so bad.
Mace Tyrell has been sent away to Bravos. Kevin Lannister is not there. He's got Master Qyburn, and he has Maester Pycelle, and that's it.
You know who he needs? The Queen of fucking Thorns. I'm sorry, I swore again.
Olenna Tyrell. No, it's good.
The Queen of Thorns.
Olenna Tyrell should just show up, but she doesn't want him on the throne. Because he's a bastard. Like, he's a product of incest. So my fear now is that the Faith Militant is coming for him.
I don't see things ending well for Tom, which is so sad. But I mean, like, we started this season with a prophecy of your children will be gold or whatever, but they will also have gold. Gold will be their shrouds,
and they will die.
And they will die. Basically,
you're gonna lose them.
They gone. Bye
bye bye. Ain't no lie.
Bye bye.
Ain't no lie, baby, bye, bye, bye. Yeah, we got it.
We got it. We remember the dance from the 2000s, early 2000s. Yeah. I mean, it's sad because Tommen is a character who has never done anything wrong. He isn't innocent in this entire thing, and I don't see it ending well. I see it ending terribly for Tommen, which is so upsetting. Yeah. But I mean, as terrible as Joffrey was, at least he made decisions.
Yep.
Tommen does not.
Nope.
Tommen has no point. I don't understand. It's sad.
It's just not going to be good.
It's not going to be good. Like, the Iron Throne is crap right now.
Stannis. Stannis. Just get Stannis on there and everything will be okay.
Sneak him into...
Put him up there.
Stannis.
By the way. And there we go. So the overview, an hour and 20 minutes later, it's done. I mean, so much happened this week that, like it's okay that we took this long to talk about it, because next week is going to be just as intense, I'm sure, but, this week so much happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we only have 3 episodes left.
Don't remind me.
I know, we only have 3 episodes left, so, alright, and now... If we're done with the overview, I think we are, it's time to move on to my favorite segment of anything ever. Davos Talk.
Davos Talk. I didn't even see that coming.
And oh boy, do I have a lot to say.
Oh gosh.
So once again, we see Sir Davos as the singular voice of reason for Stannis Baratheon, because Melisandre sucks.
Totally.
While retreating might seem the cowardly thing to do, keeping troops alive, well, that seems mighty important. Granted, I see Stannis' point of view as well, and given the fact that he is one of the best war commanders to ever exist, while moving forward sort of seems like the only option. And as I said before, he says it for a reason, and it all packs a punch. Davos also understands, because that's just who he is. Okay. I just, love him so much.
What?
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
Shocking.
I know. All of that aside, I mentioned earlier how I'm slightly terrified that Stannis will do the right thing and have Shireen sacrificed to R'hllor. Well, my good old editor, Kyle Tremblay, who I've definitely mentioned already on this podcast, offered up a theory that I think might just save the day. And I'm going to be interested to hear your thoughts as well. So instead of sacrificing his daughter, Stannis will pull the good old bait and switch and send Shireen away with Davos, thus activating the Onion Knight's solo mission. I mean, I don't know, but this sort of sounds like the best plan ever. Granted, I won't get to see Davos and Stannis in the same scene for a while, but hey, absence makes the heart grow fonder, does it not? So, what do you think? I mean, I think this theory could happen. Stannis loves his daughter, and they have built up this relationship, and to sort of tear it down like that would just, be shocking in a way that, yes, Game of Thrones is, but we need a king to root for, and at this point we still have Stannis. I mean, he's the only one that's literally in Westeros.
Yeah.
So, and plus we get to see Davos out on his own with Shireen, which would literally be amazing. It
would be, because that's a great dynamic. I really like the relationship those two have. I mean, I think that's completely plausible. I think I would be a lot more skeptical about it if they hadn't had that scene, maybe 2 episodes ago, where Stannis was like, "You're my daughter, I love you," and they had that beautiful,
you mean the best
tender
scene
moment.
in all of Game of Thrones?
In all of Game of Thrones, yeah. Obviously, completely unbiasedly, the best moment.
Seriously, it still is the best. It is for me. It is literally the best scene, because you get to see Stannis be human.
Yeah, no, that's very true, and I think he has not been that way before. He's been, first of all, he's been a pawn very much for Melisandre in my eyes.
Yeah, before. Absolutely.
Completely. So that was the first moment.
I want you. Shut up.
Shut up. Stop. Get the fuck out.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Leave.
Just get out.
Be quiet, Stannis. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, yeah, I think that in this season he's very much, I think, kind of like we touched on before, he's coming into his own as a leader. And I think he's separating a little from Melisandre in that realm of making his own choices and not just doing it because of her or because he just purely wants to rule. Now it's like he has to sort out priorities. So I really like that theory. I think I would actually prefer him keeping his daughter there as opposed to sending her away, because that would say even more about him. But
in order to save her life, sending her with his most trusted confidant, would be the best route. And Davos does have when Stannis rides for Winterfell in the books, Davos goes another way. Yeah. They split up then. Okay. So it's so it would be, I think that they're going to at some point send Stavos.
Oh, it's
They're going to send Davos off on his own. Mm-hmm. And my hope is that it won't be with Shireen's death. Like, he won't, like, give up on Stannis.
Right.
I don't think that Davos could do that. Davos, his loyalty is Stannis. That is who he is. And so I don't think that he could just give up. I think that the only way to send him away would be to save Shireen's life.
I agree. Yeah. I like that a lot then. Because I didn't think about that aspect of it, and I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Good. Davos talk over. That's all we need. Positivity in the dark. All right.
The darkness of night.
Okay, and now it's time for the fan theory of the week. And this is one I sort of touched on in the live podcast, but wanted to elaborate on just a little bit more. So last week I talked about how one of my favorite theories is that Brienne of Tarth is actually the younger, more beautiful rival that will usurp Cersei. And I absolutely love this theory because it's not taking what Maggie the Frog said at face value. When you hear younger, more beautiful, your mind automatically jumps to Marjorie, Daenerys, maybe even Sansa.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm guessing that Brienne is at the bottom of your list. Okay, this theory originated on Reddit. I believe so. So let's just piece it apart a little bit.
I like it.
Brienne is called Brienne the Beauty. And while it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, her said nickname was given to her for a reason that only George R.R. Martin really knows. Brienne has won over Jaime, even though many thought it wouldn't be possible. I mean, we see him gazing at the Sapphire Isle when he's going to Dorne. Like, he's like, "What is that?" And some guy's like, "Oh, it's the Sapphire Isle." He's like, "Yeah, it is. That's where my girl's from.
My lady."
Yeah. I mean, he gives her a sword.
Yeah.
He saves her from the bear pit. Like, he cares about her.
He does. Yeah, that's a great dynamic between them two.
And she's also younger than Cersei, which is told in the books, and no one would expect Brienne to be the one that finally ruins Cersei.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like the type of thing George R. R. Martin would do?
Yeah.
Doesn't it sound like the kind of thing D.B. Weiss and David Benioff would do? Like, clearly Cersei has been waiting for this woman to come along and take her over. But for it to be someone that she has never even considered a threat, like, that is some sort of justice that not even the High Sparrow can inflict.
Oh, yeah.
Like, plus, Brienne has a heart of gold, and inner beauty is way more important anyway, right?
That's true.
So I'm sure you have thoughts on the theory. What do you think?
I mean, when you first brought that up, I had never thought about that before, and I really, really like it. And I like the idea that it brings this new meaning into what the prophecy could have meant by beauty.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to think that it could be Marjorie. Because Marjorie's, she's this gorgeous younger girl who steps in. It's the easy answer. I mean, I don't know.
I would love it.
It would be great. It would be awesome. And I mean,
it would give more depth to storytelling.
Absolutely.
Like, it would be like, "Oh, George R. R. Martin, you're a great writer. Holy shit, you're an amazing writer."
Right.
Like, it's not all about face value.
Right, exactly.
It's about what's under the skin. And that is so important, especially with Brienne, and especially with the way that she's told the story about Renly, and she told the story about how she got the name Brienne the Beauty, and like...
Right. I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that, too, because they built that up. Obviously.
Telepathy.
Twinning.
Twinning. Hey.
What? They kind of built on that, and they were like, we're going to introduce this story about her, like, in this season, conveniently before they, or conveniently after, I guess, they talk about the younger, more beautiful rival. I think it would be a great little kind of twist on the prophecy.
I think so too. So awesome. If it's not written in the books, I really want the show to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
I would love it.
Well, that would also finally, give the show... it would be giving it what it's not doing with Sansa, as opposed to her, book counterpart that she's kind of taking the place of.
Yeah.
Because they basically did the same storyline, as you said. I'm learning so well from you.
Look, I'm so proud.
Oh my god. You're learning me so well.
Good. I'm glad. And I'd be interested to know what listeners think of that theory as well, because it is one that's sort of out there. But it makes sense.
Yeah,
and it's the kind of writing that George R. R. Martin does. Like, it's not Red Wedding style. It's not like, let's kill off all your favorite characters. But it's definitely like, yeah, let's lift up this one character. Let's put her on a pedestal that she was never on before. So, cool. All right. Now it's time for the showdown, and it's gonna get sad. Because we're talking about Maester Aemon.
Oh.
So in the show, we watched as he died at Castle Black, the place he called his home for many, many years. In the books, however, the story is quite different. So Jon after receiving his title of Lord Commander, is nervous that Melisandre is going to use royal blood as a power boost. So he sends Aemon along with Sam Gilly and Mance Rayder's child, who technically has King's blood in him. Mm-hmm. So Mance Rayder has a kid. They really cancel out a lot of that, which makes sense. It's complicated. Okay. But he sends them to Old Town, which houses the Maester Citadel, where all the Maesters go and learn how to be a Maester and get their chains and all that. Okay. Ridding Castle Black of any potential royal blood in the process. So much for them blood sacrifices, eh? Take that, Melisandre. Point for Jon Snow. Right? Anyway, the journey to Old Town proves to be really harsh on the Old Master, and when the odd group reaches Braavos, he passes away from a chill. It's said that he was 102 and the oldest man to ever live in Westeros.
Oh, that's even worse.
I know, it's so heartbreaking.
It's so sad.
Another note for your book, though, the reason behind Jon sending Sam to Old Town, I bet you can guess it. He's going to become Castle Black's new Maester. Oh. So, if he makes it back. Oh. So, they sort of hint at it in the show, too. I mean, Maester Aemon is close with Sam, and he sort of is talking about all of his wisdom, and, I don't know, could you see Sam leaving Castle Black to become a Maester? I mean, it's
100%. I mean, that's kind of, and I never thought about that until now, but that's a really good point. That's what they've been building him for, because they've been building him as this person who's very strong-spirited, who's wise, who knows how to kind of instruct people, but doesn't know how to fight.
He's in the books all the time.
He's in the books all the time. He's reading up. He loves taking in that knowledge. First of all, I think that's totally plausible. Second of all, I think it would be fantastic. He would be a fantastic Maester.
My biggest fear is that things in Castle Black would go to shit without him.
Yeah.
And that's why they probably had Aemon die at the Night's Watch instead of sending him away. Mm-hmm. I mean, it would be great to see another place, because I think Sam actually has a run-in with Arya. Like, in the books at some point. What? It's very... Yeah, it's so crazy. But, like, that whole storyline is very different. And I knew his death was coming, because he does die in the books, and it's very sad. But, like, I didn't know that it was coming that way, because I did think that they were going to send Sam off before Jon rode for Hardhome. Okay. I thought that Jon was going to be like, yo, Aemon's about to die. I need a Maester here.
There was no build-up. He just died.
He just died.
He just went away.
So which one... So after hearing the differences, which one do you prefer?
Between...
The books and the show. The book and the show. I mean, I know you haven't read it.
Yeah, no,
but, like, it's still interesting because, you know, you've got him dying, not in a place that he knew.
Right.
On the sea, but apparently he loved standing out in the rain and in the sea. But, like... Right. He's got a purpose. Like, Sam has a purpose to go. Yeah. Like, and that's really good. But there's also that whole him dying at Castle Black it's his home.
It's his home. And I actually do think I like the show's version better, just because I think it gives a little added pressure and urgency. Yeah. To, we need someone to fill this role. Yeah. And I think that's going to be, and I also think it's very important that they had in the same episode, Aemon passing and Sam getting beaten to a pulp, but rising from it. Yes. And showing that he has that strength.
Because he exhibits a different type of strength. Exactly. On the journey to the Citadel. I think it's a very... Like, I think it was necessary, and I'm starting to understand the choices that they're making, the creative choices that they're making in the show instead of the books. I mean, taking Sam and Maester and Gilly and a child all on a boat. Like, it would be very complicated. But at the same time, like, I don't know what's going to happen with Sam's story, and I really do like that he is becoming the Maester. Yeah. And that's 100%. One thing that I like. So if that does happen in the show, I'll be like, yeah, hell yeah, the show's doing it right. Mm-hmm. But right now, I really liked that Sam had a purpose. Yes. And I don't know. I think that I'm sort of torn on it because I loved reading that, and it's all from Sam's point of view, and it's just like, you know, it's really good, and I can't wait for you to get there.
I'm so excited.
But
being in Sam's head.
Being in Sam's, it's great. I think it's like starting a book 2 or something, you get to be in Sam's head. So it's, you're so there. But yeah, so I think that as far as the showdown goes, I preferred the books. But I'm also glad that Maester Aemon got to die in a place that he called his home.
Yeah, totally. I love his final line, too, which is, I dreamed I was old. Oh, it's so sad.
Oh, God, and he's talking about his brother.
Oh, too many
feels. Just, like, so much. Oh, God.
Too many feels.
Too many feels. Okay.
Right.
Check us out.
Moving on.
It is time for the beard rating.
Oh, my God, yes.
So, Carly, you went through this during the live podcast. We all agreed that Season 5 as a whole deserved the Tyrion as an exile beard. But what about the gift on its own? I'm trying really hard not to give it the new Stannis beard, because I think that's a cop-out. I do. It's a total cop-out to just be like, yeah, I guess the new Stannis beard. Because I already gave something a Stannis beard. It's like sexy stubble.
True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Do you want me to say mine and then you go? Or?
I mean, I was totally going to give it the new Stannis beard.
What?
I was totally going to give it that because I didn't, I'll be honest, I didn't really notice his new beard until you mentioned it. And then I was like, all right. So I feel like it's a good representation of the episode because there are some weak points. But it's getting stronger.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, well, I because I was, like, giving a Stannis beard as a cop-out as the biggest Stannis fan out there, I decided to go with the Dario Naharis beard.
Oh.
Because there's a lot to look at, you know?
Yeah.
But it all comes together sort of perfectly. I'm excluding Dorne.
I like
I'm
it.
excluding Dorne because it doesn't belong on Dario's face.
No.
That's why.
It doesn't belong anywhere.
So I just exclude Dorne. Because I just can't. I can't compare. Like, if I were to compare Dorne, it would bring the entire episode down so much that I just have to be like, okay, you know what? No, Dorne is on its own. Dorne is a Joffrey. We'll just go from there.
Dorne is a Joffrey.
Dorne is a Joffrey.
What's lower than a Joffrey?
Ramsay?
He's
maybe.
pretty bald in the chin.
Is he bald? Yeah, maybe.
Pretty much.
Maybe. Well, Joffrey has nothing.
Tommen.
Weak.
Marcella.
Oh, God, we're so mean. Okay, well, there we go. That is it for this week's episode of You Got Got. I can't quite believe we did it, because we talked a lot.
We talked so much.
I'm so glad that we talked so much, because it's so nice to, like really talk about it in, like, a goofy way, but a fun way. And now we're almost to episode 8.
Oh, God, I know. It's almost over. I can't deal with it.
And then we have to wait a year.
Don't think about it.
Okay.
Don't think about it.
So, Carly, instead of thinking about that, how can the listeners find you?
What? The listeners can find me. I am a writer on the Chicago-based 630.com, which is spelled out the630.com. I am the only female and the only geeky writer, so look for that. I'm also on Twitter at Chillin5, CHILLYN5. And I think that's pretty much it.
That was beautiful. You did that so well. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at YouGotGotPod, and any questions can be emailed to YouGotGotPodcast@gmail.com. My personal Twitter is at Sophia M. Porter, and I'm sure if you do follow me there, you've seen Carly's and my interactions. Carly, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come and chat with me.
Thank you for having me.
And listeners, I hope you enjoyed all of our conversation, because they're long.
And
we enjoyed it so much. Pour one out for Master Aemon for us, please. Come on. He deserves it. And be sure to tune in next week, because I'm sure I'll have a lot to say. Until then, you guys, and remember, the night is dark, but full of Davos.